The story I'm about to tell you is one of the biggest triumphs in the automotive world. It's a story of drive, ambition, and resilience. This is the story of how Tata Motors brought Jaguar Land Rover to India. The acquisition of Ford Motors Jaguar and Land Rover brands was not a simple corporate deal. Behind it is a story of visionary leadership and a pivotal meeting gone sour. Listen on to find out what fueled Tata's takeover of Jaguar Land Rover. Hello and welcome to a century of stories brought to you by IDFC First Bank. Always you first. I'm your host Kunal Vijaykar. We've traveled through time to meet the architects of India's business, science, arts and sports landscape. Today, I have one more such tale, the Tata Triumph story. In a meeting between Ratan Tata and Bill Ford in Detroit in 1999, there was a disagreement about the potential of Tata Motors' passenger car division. While belittling Tata's experience in the space, Ford spoke rather harshly to Ratan Tata and his team, who were there to discuss the sale of Tata Motors' car division to Ford. Ford said, "Why would you get into this business? You know nothing about it." Hearing those words, Ratan Tata realized something. This seemed like an unequal transaction, and that did not sit right with him. After all, Tata Motors had been a successful locomotive manufacturer since 1945 and started making commercial vehicles in the 1950s. Commercial vehicles in India were synonymous with the brand. Remember all those Tata trucks you used to see on the highways? Tata Motors entered passenger vehicles under the leadership of Ratan Tata with SUVs like Tata Sierra, Tata Sumo and Tata Safari doing well in the 1990s. In 1999, they faced a setback from their new affordable indigenously developed hatchback. Indica's below-par performance might have put the company in a sticky situation, but Ratan Tata decided to stick with the more car per car and banked on Tata Motors' strong foundations and his own self-belief to carry them through. He called off the sale to Ford. Ratan Tata comes from a long line of illustrious businessmen like Nasirwanji Tata, Jamshedji Tata, Dorabji Tata and JRD Tata. His predecessors had contributed greatly to building India since 1868, and Ratan would continue to do the same. As a young man, learning the ropes of the business, he showed one clear quality: the ability to look at a problem objectively and come up with an unconventional solution. In 1991, he was made chairman of the Tata Group. He was taking over from JRD Tata, who had spent 50 years in this role. Ratan's first order of business was to streamline and consolidate all the Tata companies so profits could help the group as a whole. It also protected them from foreign buyers entering India during liberalization. He turned his focus to innovative and affordable solutions for the Indian middle class. In 1999, when the sale of Tata Motors' car division to Ford fell through, Ratan Tata changed tact and took the challenge head-on. The Tata Group's mission had always been the welfare of Indians. He was going to build Tata Motors up to make it the vehicle of choice for every Indian. They learned from their mistakes and made improvements to the first model of the Indica. Sales picked up. Tata Motors even started exporting Indica, the Indian car, to Africa and to Europe. Tata Motors had ridden out the 2001 economic downturn and was listed now on the New York Stock Exchange in 2004. With global acquisitions of a trucking unit in South Korea, a bus and coach manufacturer in Spain, and a joint venture in Brazil under Ratan Tata, Tata Motors was well and truly on the rise internationally. The crowning jewel in Ratan Tata's business repertoire was the launch of Tata Nano in January 2008. It was the most cost-effective car in the world, priced under rupees 1 lakh. It was not only a hope for every common man and his family, but the achievement also spoke to the operational efficiencies of Tata Motors. At the same time, Ford was not doing so well. And the 2008 recession was the last straw for his luxury brands, Jaguar and Land Rover. People were just not buying luxury cars anymore. So when Bill Ford met Ratan Tata again in 2008, the scenario was very different. This time, it was Ratan Tata who would be doing Ford a favor, and he did. In June 2008, he made an offer of a cool $2.3 billion to buy Jaguar and Land Rover, just a few billion short of what Ford had paid just a decade before. But the payback was not complete till Tata breathed life back into these then unprofitable brands. Learning from Tata's own experience of the last decade, they set to work. $1 billion was infused into the design and development of new models for JLR. Coupled with cutting costs and bringing operational efficiencies, the Tatas turned JLR's fortunes around. With this new positioning, Jaguar Land Rover had become profitable within 1 year of the acquisition. More than a bold business decision, this is a story of self-belief, of triumph over failure and over one's harshest critics. For centuries, the Tata Group has built infrastructure to support industries from steel to salt to software. Some would say the story of Tata is a story of India's growth itself. While the central focus was always India, Tata's ambitions were also global, much like India itself. From being a supplier of robust steel during the two world wars to taking over some iconic international brands in a move to meet global aspirations, Ratan Tata and Tata Motors had scripted one of the biggest triumphs in the automotive world. You've been watching a century of stories brought to you by IDFC First Bank, always you first. I'm Kunal, and I'll be back next week with another story that will make you think, that will make you feel, and that will make you want to know more about a century of stories. In today's Safe Banking Tips presented by IDFC First Bank, be very careful where you take your trading advice from. If you see investment ads that seem to be too good to be true, refrain from participating. There are new scams which mimic legitimate platforms like stockbroking firms, financial advisors, or even regulatory bodies. If someone offers you unrealistic returns, think twice before parting with your hard-earned money.
IVM